Hello everyone, I'm Extra Cheesy 87 and this is Let's Play Disco Elysium Part 38. In the previous video, we found our man, the shooter, Dros, the man who watched the world die. That's your new title. I've decided that's what we're gonna call you. Yeah, we're gonna try and get him to confess.
Minions of capital. What do you want?
Oh, 1 second, stay put.
I ain't going.
Hosier. Hosier. Alright, we got tons of stuff that give composure. All kinds of things, like, our shoes. Those give composure. Our shoes that... Not those shoes. Where are my shoes? This. And we got our pants. Our boots give minus composure. I mean, let's just go through the top. Pretty sure we have one more source. I mean, how can a man not be intimidated by someone with this dope windbreaker? Alright. I don't even know why I saved.
Minions of capital. What do you want?
Well, first things first. Let's pick up the gun.
His gaze follows your motions. The rifle feels surprisingly light in your hand. Frame stocked and patched in places with tape and wire. Still warm from his parched hands. Not the metal. The metal is ice cold. This weapon has been modified several times.
Been patched and modified several times.
I wonder how old it is.
The old man does not answer. He just stares in front of him.
Inspect it closer.
The rifle's in a shabby state, like a crutch that's seen too much travel. Hieroglyphs are embossed into the forearm, made of walnut. On the butt, you see Vespertine writing, burnt into the wood. Triangong, 4.46mm, made in Sinyao.
Uses jacket ammunition.
The right type and the right calibre.
He's liking this.
It is a Trinagong.
No one said it has to be a Belmagrave. We were just guessing.
From ballistics, it could easily have been a Triangong, too.
It doesn't matter if it was made in Shanti Shanti. All it has to do is use jacketed ammunition. And it does.
The old man keeps following your motion with his gaze. His right arm twitches suddenly. This looked very much like the murder weapon. It can be used against him later.
Let's assess him.
For a 60-year-old man with stomach trouble, who spent his entire life alone on an uninhabited island,
Come on.
he seems surprisingly fit.
That's it?
He's prone to erratic hand gestures and clearly malnourished.
Asshole.
But that's it. You can see no more by looking at his slouched frame. The moment passes.
Minions.
I'm looking at you
of
again.
capital.
What strikes you about this gaunt man is not the stomach
We
pain
rolled
or
the same
cough,
thing.
or the malnutrition. It's precisely what you could not see before. For a man who spent 44 years hidden in the urban wild.
He's okay. I mean, the fact that he's alive is a success.
Indeed, he speaks fluidly. His movements are rapid, if erratic. His voice, despite the cough, is there. It is capable of expressing complicated ideas. Above all, he seems animated.
Animated by what? The specter of communism?
It's a mystery. This animation comes at a cost too. Erratic hand gestures, thought processes cut off like threads, as he just stares at the logs or the reeds. He also suffers mood swings, bubbling to the surface, unconstrained by his nervous system.
The Insulindian Phasmid has attached itself to his brain and is feeding off of it.
Great leaps of emotion, from anger to grief, despair.
Dementia?
You've seen demented people before. This feels similar, yet different. When his thoughts move, they are lucid. Keen, even.
Yeah.
Not senile.
Wouldn't a foul temper be a byproduct of his life?
Perhaps, but his seems more than that. The inner turmoil takes unexpected turns, as if forced on him in a way. In summary, you sense some underlying neurological disorder.
Or he's been possessed by Krasmazov, just like us. Mr. Dros, are you okay? How's your memory?
No, I'm not okay. I shit blood, and I'm surrounded by insane people.
I mean, we're the only one that's insane. Kim's pretty sane.
There it is again. Erratic hand motions, bouts of rage, and the stomach thing too, of course.
Alright, Mr. Dros, the Colonel. We need to talk about you killing him.
Petty bourgeois law.
Yeah,
This is all you
everyone
care
knows
about,
in a...
right? The only thing in the world for you types.
In a true communist utopia, murder would be legal. I'd be able to kill whoever I wanted.
A drop of blood in the saliva. That's right. Pile it all on him now. 3 should do it. Maybe 4.
Alright, first things first. We saw some Maybells behind the victim's window. I saw them growing here. So I guess it's like he put the Maybells there to distinguish which window. Is that what, I think that's what we're insinuating?
Damn Maybells. The whole island is turning white with them.
He seems tender suddenly. Nostalgic even. A strange mood swing.
So many this year too. The spring is coming. No, it's already here. Wash the filth away.
Haven't seen these flowers anywhere else in Martinez, only here.
They blossom on the islets before we fertilize them with our blood. Resurrection was snow white in May, before they ruined it. The coast, too, before they piled their containers on top of it, filled with broken, useless trash for fat-fingered bourgeois children to play with.
You must get around a lot to stay undetected all these years. Do you know any secret paths? Pinball workshops?
I may.
A young woman called Classe. Ring any bells? Flowers like these were behind her window?
Class, yeah.
He knows her, but hadn't heard the name.
You hadn't heard her name, had you?
My ears don't reach the city.
You know her, right? She had intimate relations with the victim, the mercenary?
With the victim.
Well, I mean, he's a victim in the literal sense. You know, we're not gonna get into whether or not he had it coming.
There is a small tremble. Looks like a smile. A crooked smile. Yet isn't quite voluntary. He's about to burst. Almost. But you need one more. Just one. Or maybe 2.
We've done the ballistics. The shot came from the island.
I saw you poking around there, looking for evidence. You're damn diligent when it comes to dead fascies. Did you like the view?
I mean, to be fair, we'd be trying hard, even if he wasn't a fascist. Or, you know, if anything, the fascism is a slight turnoff for us trying hard.
You had direct visibility. There are embrasures in the concrete, specifically meant for a top follower to use. And you had a long-range rifle in your possession. You have been here a long time, Mr. Dros. Too long. You need medical aid.
And, you know, the one thing I don't respect about you murdering that guy is the fact that we could have potentially arrested the wrong person. That's actually the thing I like respect the least, or that I find like most like bad about the murder in a way, is hiding out after the fact. Because I mean, there was a very real possibility that we arrested the wrong person for the murder, and like you just completely ruined someone's life for no reason. Like even if we just, you know, secede the point that like the guy was a war criminal who, like, who gives a shit if he died or not. Like even if we concede that, you know, we could have potentially arrested Classe or Ruby or any other person, and they would have had their lives destroyed because of this guy.
I'm ready to die. I've done my part.
He's practically admitting to it. Dead fascists for fascists. Done his part.
View was perfect, with a pair of binoculars I could have seen in the room.
Because it's a sniper's nest, you stupid fuck. Radio Gosh is right. You have worms in your brain.
Almost. He almost burst out there. Keep piling arguments. Anything.
Wonder what brand of boots you're wearing.
Everything is brands with you individualists. Who cares what brand my shoes are? Sansa? Some shit.
Show me the souls, please, Mr. Dros.
Fucking imbecile.
What did they gave us a hint about this, but I've kind of forgotten it because I took a break in between videos.
The maker is called Sansariq, and the size is 42 to 44.
It said something about the horizontal lines were different.
These are not the unusual horizontal patterned souls you saw in the dust on the floor of the hidden room. They do, however, seem to be about the same size.
The size fits, but not the soul.
Maybe it's simpler than that?
Sire, he doesn't have to be wearing them right now.
People change shoes. Doesn't mean they weren't there, near the room the victim died in, sneaking around.
Racking those brains, are you? Desperate to report something back to your masters? They must have really loved that dead fuck.
The lieutenant gives you a quick sideways glance and nods to acknowledge. The prints were his. You can see it in those eyes. He can't keep them from flickering, looking for something. The old man stares at his own prints in the ash around the fire. Silent suddenly, some strange process within him. A gush of wind. Seagulls in the distance. You've almost got him. Just the last little push.
At the end of the day, I don't need your cooperation. I got this.
Not a lot of guns around that use military-grade ammunition, are there?
It's a real gun. Not like your little musketeer pistol. I've seen you prance around with that. Jumping hoops for the liberals.
Hey, we killed just as many mercenaries as you. Technically more, because we killed 2.
You look like imbeciles. Why don't you
Granted,
ask
he's
them
probably
to
killed
give
more
you
in the last 40
real
years, but you know,
weapons?
in recent times.
Going against automatic rifles with these toy guns. Of course you got those boys killed.
Damn, he saw you. He's watched it happen. So he saw you. Okay, so what? Don't let it divert you.
Don't let it divert you. Stop changing the subject. We have the murder weapon.
You know what? You're right. I'm convinced this made the shot. Should we call it?
You think we have the murder weapon?
4.46 jacketed ammunition, modified for range. We have it. This is it.
Calling it.
Good. This feels good, doesn't it? Tearing things up like this. When you have the murder weapon, you have the killer.
Murder.
I mean, it is murder. Whether or not he was a piece of shit, it is murder.
You know who he was. A coalition-trained murderer. Armored and armed. He wasn't human. The blunt end of a hammer. Dripping with blood.
I mean, he was a racist, a rapist. He probably was a racist as well, let's be fair. I'm not saying he didn't deserve it.
Beating us to the ground. Moaning with joy. You hounds get so thorough when a company-trained killer dies. I haven't seen you on this coast for 40 years. You know, maybe I should have killed one sooner. Got your attention. Now you stop beating druggies and prostitutes in your basement. Now you come to investigate. Not when they die by the hundreds.
Okay, I don't necessarily disagree with you, but at the same time, we're the 2 best cops in the entire world, so it rings a little hollow.
This is it. Shot him. Shot him. Say shot him, not killed him.
But you shot him.
Oh, the inhumanity. One paramilitary less in Revachol.
You can almost see him squeeze a tear out of his eye. His fists begin to tremble from the anger.
The lieutenant raises his right arm to hush you. Hush. He does not need to be pushed anymore. The ball is rolling, while the lieutenant listens, holding his breath.
Your breath.
I had them in my sights. Both of them. Him and the whore. I was breathing with them, in phase, and I pulled the trigger and flew on the air until I landed in his mouth. I didn't think I had a shot like that in me anymore. I did. I saw him kneel there with his mouth full of death, and that stupid look on his face. And his dick still in her.
Then what?
Nothing. I went to sleep. Next morning there were Maybells everywhere. The world was white, or what's left of it anyway. My last spring here. I knew the fascists would come to avenge their own. And so they did.
Mr. Dros, are you aware you're confessing to murder?
Yes.
Single word is all that he gives.
And you were looking at Dan, the victim and a young woman, having sex through the scope of your rifle that night, before you shot him?
Lieutenant takes out his notebook, slowly. Very slowly.
The old man nods.
Why?
Because that's what they were doing.
Shrugs, then smacks his lips.
The motive. This is where the motive is going to come from. You can coax it out of him. The lieutenant's preparing the ground.
I don't understand. Do you, detective? I don't understand this part.
Why were you looking at them that night?
I'm always looking.
He cocks his head to the side, then turns his eyes to the city. Another tremor passes his right side, lower in intensity.
Are you always looking through the scope of a rifle? I'm just trying to understand.
A rifle scope has the best magnification.
And if you don't like it?
Click.
You pull the trigger?
Yes. Think of it as a form of critique.
You got him going. Connect every little piece now. Wrap this up like a gift.
Okay. First things first. What specifically did you not like about what you saw the night of the murder? Like, you know, how did you know this guy was a... Because, I mean, we haven't really established how he knows who this guy is.
Them. Fucking. I didn't like that.
I mean, he wasn't jealous.
Splat. A bloody spitball lands on the firewood.
Yeah, well,
Them.
just to advance the
Fuck.
conversation, even though I think this is like
I
a
didn't
stupid thing
like
to say.
that. Jealousy is a reactionary concept. I didn't like the Reaver enjoying himself, drugged out, soothed in the arms of a young woman. I wanted him to die so he could not enjoy life anymore. And I wanted to see his head explode. That too. She should know
You forgot a
better than
word.
to hold a child murderer between her thighs. I knew he'd be there for one more second, writhing. That's all it takes for the bullet to reach his head. Now that I think of it, I wasn't aiming for his mouth. I wanted his brains to spill out on her. But you can't have everything.
This man has seen past her, like you did. And now he longs to see her covered in blood. To punish her.
How long have you been watching her?
Since she came to Martinez. I saw her sneaking in the reeds early in the morning, behind the Feld building. It was dark, still winter. She didn't have her skimpy outfit on then, just a spot in the night, moving.
Past the Feld building on the coast? What was she doing there?
Hiding something in the water. She had a fag after she'd done it. I was up in the ruins there. She couldn't see me, but I could see her, smoking. She was nervous, but not scared.
What do you think she hid there?
Her passport and tickets to Villiers. And from there to Cachet Brut.
Got a hidden container on the coast? You looked into it?
Yes, after she'd gone. It was a submersible. Well made, actually.
Sloppy. We should have gotten her to tell us about this. Did you take the documents?
No, I put them back. Why would I take them? I'm not going to phone. Oh, I mean...
Did you continue watching her after this?
I did. She had a face like an archipelago, with those birthmarks, and a body hard and lean and bruised all over, black and yellow. I could see she's taken a beating. I could see who she was, too. A spook, on the run. Revershal's the cloaca of capital now. All the bagmen and arms dealers end up here to do drugs and have sex like animals.
You could tell she was a spook from the documents?
She had different color hair on the photo, and glasses. Forged. Some sordid bourgeois affair. I've heard about this kind of thing on the radio.
He's setting it up for you.
How'd you see all this? The bruises that she was beaten?
I'm not blind, am I?
Oh? Has he know about these minute details about her body?
He
Bro!
must have climbed to the roof, maybe.
Come on. Did you get close enough to see her bruises?
I have my ways.
I feel like that shouldn't even be a check. It's so obvious.
You've been through the secret route behind the whirling in rags. Those were your footprints. You just changed your shoes.
I've been through all
Okay, at least
of
we still
Martinez.
kind of figured it out, I guess.
Every nook and cranny.
Thank God, the lieutenant is picking it up.
Yeah, because apparently we're a freaking idiot. I don't even know why that's reaction speed. Doesn't even make sense for it to be a reaction speed check.
But that Nook too?
Yes, that too. The things they did in that little room. What she'd do to feel good. Funny the way light works. You turn it on inside, and it gets so dark out, you can't see a man looking in. I learned that in the 20s, when they were still hunting me. I've seen people do some shit, but...
Those two took the cake. You hear the familiar scribble of the lieutenant's pen. A quick glance at you. One more loose end down. We're doing this, detective.
How did you get in there? The hidden Pinball Workshop.
The key.
I can just walk in there now after a good wash. I told you, they think I'm an antisocial. Closing hour is a good time.
Said the key had been there for a long time, so it makes sense he'd know where it was.
You had to open the steel door in the kitchen? How?
I got that open a long time ago. Some bourgeois game merchant lived there. I don't know, 15 years ago.
And you're telling me
He left
communists
spare
can't even
keys
enjoy
all over.
pinball?
And I took one. Then I saw her turn the light on one night in my scope.
If you play pinball, you're a damn clash trader?
Andy found use for it. A spare key, like the one hanging behind the Union box window.
You wanted to punish her.
She practically breastfed that man. You wouldn't believe the things she let him do to her.
You stare at them too. In your mind, her innocence day still turns to leaf. Airport bag in hand, silks flowing in her wake.
Dream.
See you tomorrow, Harry. Her voice rings in the evening air. Burning.
Saw through her.
You're delusional. There's nothing to see in the soul of the bourgeois woman. It's the same as the surface. Sick hedonism and desperation.
And her insane.
The world is insane.
I don't think he had feelings for her. In conclusion, it wasn't about him, it was about her.
Her.
The lieutenant nods at you in acknowledgement. That's it. Motive. We have it.
Where is she, that Clasier? I haven't seen her there for days.
She got away, but she let us here first. She figured out someone was watching her from the sea fort.
Gone. I knew it. She kept staring into the scope this last week at the island, like she knew.
I don't know, maybe he did have feelings for her, I don't know.
She'd look at night, crying or smoking on the roof, staring right into me. It doesn't matter.
Across the water, on a dilapidated jetty in a nameless village, made of grey cinder block houses with Eternite roofs, 2 police officers and 1 special consultant look across a narrow strip of sea. He's there, doing what exactly, I don't know. Satellite Officer Vic Mayer points at the ruins. Behind that anti-aircraft something. That's why we can't see him.
We're doing dope cop shit, aight?
Special Consultant Heidelstein is optimistic. We'll see the boat when he comes. Let's go get a coffee until then. I know this interesting little place. Where? His voice trails off as the 3 walk down the jetty.
This does remind me, though, like, I do kind of want a little bit of closure on the Puta de Madre thing. Like, how much of a peon were we? Because Ruby really made it sound like we were, like, really in the criminal organization. That we were, like, someone to be known.
As the men
Not
go,
just, like, someone
Patrol
taking a little
Officer
money
Miller
on the
looks back
side.
over her shoulder at the crumbling fortification, like a rotten tooth rising out of the water.
You know, it could also be possible, going back to the, you know, the ex-wife stuff, that maybe that's why he got in there, is because she was leaving him or upset over their poverty. So he became a corrupt cop. As, like, thinking that would be a way to repair the relationship, and either that happened too late, or maybe she didn't approve of that. I don't know.
Good luck, Harry, she thinks. You need something good for this.
We could get more. We've got him talking.
Who knows what he's seen and done over the years?
Yeah.
You could get more out of him. He likes talking.
Been looking at anything else you haven't liked?
A tragic comedy. Druggies, prostitutes, and rentiers.
A strange little engine seems to fire up in him again. It straightens his back.
More specifically?
Specifically, the whole city is a charnel house. Stripped clean and draped in neon. But Martinez is the worst.
How come?
Because of the racists. Everyone is a racist in Martinez. It's their favorite thing to do in the whole world. Listening to race-themed radio shows. In the ruins, in their lorries. Pumped full of steroids and Radio Revachol 92. Race this, race that. It's all sanctioned by that Social Democratic Union and the farce of a Social Democrat who runs it.
Okay, well, he sees through Claire, so based, I guess. Mr. Claire?
Yes, the fly larva in his container. He let some nihilistic advertising yuppies erect a statue of Philippe III, a syphilitic murderer, on the town square, to spit on the working class.
Let him finish.
Not since the serfs of ancient Pericarnassus has history produced a more inert social class than the Martinez proletariat. The rest of Revachol at least pretends to rebuild. These people still live in ruins. In tents, like animals, like those boom-boom morons on the ice. A pity they didn't drown in that tent of theirs.
Hey, those are our friends.
The worst of them is the blood-drenched Sucrion on her yacht, licking her lips. The old whore's gone now. Her gun-toting porcelain men are dead. So, actually, no. The worst is that old cop parading around in his uniform, throwing balls all day. It's not enough that the racists and liberals are dancing on our graves. The old loyalist ghouls still parade the ruins too.
We have his jacket.
Every morning he's there, while the parasites he fought to protect are off in Ozon, or Kwayamorang, or some other island they built their palaces on, feeding on drugs and having sex with their own children.
Say nothing.
That's all the rich really want. Sex with their own children. Throughout history, even the royal bloodline of the suzerain, it's all just an excuse for them to have sordid sex. At least that old cunt, Frisell, is now dead.
It's just not.
We did good when we pushed him under that horse car. If only, in the 30s, those disco whores...
What follows is ominous mumbling. You cannot make out a single word.
The disco whores are too much. Hatred shuts down his brain's language center, leaving only a nonsensical sputter.
Disco horse?
Whores.
Is all he says. Even that word has to be pushed through his teeth with great force. The rage seethes too hard. By cock parading in his colorful uniform, you mean Rene?
Every fucking morning for 34 years. Throwing that ball. One ball against the other. I've always loathed that game. That
And
is
communists
not
can't have any
a
fun.
working class game.
Can't play
I don't
pinball.
care what they say on radio.
Can't throw
June.
balls at other balls.
Royalist ghouls played like it was life itself. Click, clack across the water each day. And that uniform, like a parrot plumage. I won't even mention that he's a traitor to his race. A patank maniac race traitor.
Okay, I don't like you necessarily call him a... I think he's kind of an idiot for being a loyalist, but calling him a race traitor is a little much.
I remember him. I remember him from Lanos. Not him, personally. His make and model. There were tens of thousands of them. I thought we took them all out before the liberals came to their rescue. We missed one. That one.
There doesn't seem to be a single person under the pine today. Not even Gaston. Alone.
No one there.
Fat and plump. Like a pheasant. Just begging to be popped off. Please, Mr. Dros. Shoot me.
You'd like to kill him?
Not yet. I like to look at him strut around, place the crosshair on his medals, right on his face, and just fiddle the trigger. Think about it. Let the bomb melt in my mouth.
Save the treat for later?
He is a juicy bonbon, that one. A real treat for the black day. The blackest. When I put that gun in my own mouth, I think, no, don't waste it. Put this lead in that cock, Rene. For the boys he killed. And then I look at him throw those balls, and I suddenly feel. Better. I even hid one bullet, so I'd always have one. For him. Haven't seen him around lately, strutting around. Must be down with arthritis. I hope it hurts like hell. I hope he sweats blood.
Here's a question. Do we tell him?
Hearing it may destabilize him. You sure you've gotten everything from him?
I don't know. It's probably bad for our interrogation if we tell him. Yeah, bad arthritis.
Huh. Yes, of course. I hope it hurts like hell. I hope he sweats blood. Must be torture. Not to be throwing his balls for a whole week.
He seems relieved. Could he have been worried for him? He reminds him of himself. The same hatred, the same. You try to think of another thing, but no. It's just the hatred.
I mean, they are similar, right? They're still holding on to a decades-old grudge.
They are veterans of the same war. Somewhere west in Coal City, his enemy is lying in a dark room on a metal slider. In Loser Municipal, like he will too. Soon. Half of the war between these men is over. With an agitated gait, Satellite Officer Jean Heron Vichmer paces the jetty, 22 kilometers east in Martinez. What could he possibly be doing there for so long, he says. Police work? Patrol Officer Judith Minot replies, with a tinge of hope in her voice.
Thanks for sticking up for us.
Warmth, too, against the cold air rising from the water. He's drunk, she thinks, and we all know.
Bro, I don't
Still,
drink.
She's just trying to see it in a generous
We drank
light.
one time, and that was to defeat all racism. You mentioned the Union is a social democratic, and Mr. Claire is a farce of a social democrat?
Another hideous disappointment. Unions are the real enemy.
I don't know about
The
that,
true
man.
enemy of the proletariat. Placating the masses.
Disappointment, so personal. He displays a familiarity with the Union's top brass.
Who's a disappointment? Edgar Claire? I mean, he is a disappointment.
That deformed toad? I wouldn't expect him to wipe his own
Oh, the
ass.
brother, maybe?
I mean, the brains of the operation. The smart one.
Doesn't Everett run the Union?
That mobster toad couldn't run a shithouse. He has no political education. His twin, Edgar Claire, that one's been to one of those East Revachol universities. He talks a big game about uprising and alienation and so on.
You've talked to Edgar?
First against the wall with him.
Stopped poking at the ash now, just shakes his head.
The Claires wouldn't miss a man hidden in their own backyard. Not all this time. Nothing happens in Martinez without them knowing.
Of course, maybe the Claires asked him to.
I thought that at first too, but I don't think so anymore.
Don't go straight for the kill. Exhaust everything else first. Soften him up.
You approach them?
I haven't approached anyone. I hid. It was Edgar who came to me.
How did he know you were here?
He didn't just stumble in like an oaf. He figured it out. Some kids told him about a monster on the island. I told you, he has brains.
But that's what we did. We heard about the fire guy.
Stepped right off the boat and walked down where you came. I even kept the door open for him. Thought he was a man of the left.
Bro, I got so many
Wouldn't rat me
communism
out.
points. Look at all my communism points. I got 26 of them bad boys. I mean, yeah, we have 10 moralists, but like half of those are just for like, I don't really even know where we got them from.
I was right about one of those things.
When was this?
20 years ago.
Oh.
Neither of them could walk now, could they? They were less fat then.
That's around the time the Claires came to power.
What'd you talk about?
Edgar did the talking. Paid his respects like I were a fossil in a uniform. Offered platitudes about the struggle.
It has something to do with the
Flaunted his
lady who
pink
disappeared,
degree.
right?
Even quoted Mazov. Never trust a social democrat who quotes Mazov. Oh, and charity too. They love their charity. Offered me blankets and social housing. I still have the gas cooker he brought.
Isn't that a good thing? He let you be here?
Let me be here. The ZOC is an unlawful successor of the Commune of Revachol. We took this fortification from the Loyalists. Even the Claires understand this.
They let him be here. Understanding was a courtesy. But why such a courtesy?
Did you kill the criminal mercenary for the Claires to incite a riot?
You know why I killed that fucker, Dwat. As to Edgar, I'm not doing anything for that swine again.
Again.
Again? What have you done for Edgar before?
I'm presuming it has to do with the lady who disappeared.
Tried teaching him some Marzovian socioeconomics. They didn't stick. We parted ways.
I mean, maybe not.
Okay, he didn't do the hanged man for them, but he's insinuated
Okay, it is that.
something.
Can I back out? I don't know. I'm just gonna... Oh, we've already maxed out logic. Alright, 1 second.
Glad.
Logic. Where are my super glasses? Don't we have some super glasses that give logic? No, it's the encyclopedia that give +2. But we have some glasses that give logic. I promise we have glasses that give logic. We don't have glasses that give logic. Cool. We have stuff that gives logic. There, okay. I know we had something that gave +2 logic. I was thinking it was the glasses, but I was getting it confused with the, Is this really all we have that gives logic? Ah. Okay, well now let's just roll a 2 and it won't fucking matter anyway.
The old man stares despondently at the logs. It's like
Wanna
he's
ask you about the
his lip
people you don't
curls
like?
into a snare at the memory. The connection
We
comes
almost
to
rolled a
you
2.
like a splash of cold water. Dark, cold water.
20 years ago when you met Edgar, the Claires didn't run the Union yet, did they?
Hey.
He acknowledges it. Here we go. A twist behind the dark bend.
Who did?
That bourgeois cow. Tiffin Holly was her name. Licked the rich man's hand every time he came to town. Never seen a labor leader so hot on mutual cooperation. And money. She liked that too. That Holly was a real bridge builder and a deal maker.
I don't know. Does he have a thing for women? He kind of sounds like he has a thing against women. Maybe we can inch towards that. He's pretty much only referred to them as whores and cows.
She was. And she was real soft on those money men. Had a Barbara Muskova bag over her shoulder that she liked to bring to work.
And she just disappeared.
Called in, they say. On the eve of battle. Ran away. Vanished like a piss stain.
There's the question. Was it threatening? Did you threaten to kill her and she ran away, or did you actually kill her?
No, that's not quite it, is it?
Did she? They say her daughter called in, not her personally. But that wasn't really her daughter, was it?
No, I guess it was not.
I'd swear you see the embers glow again under his eyes in the dust. Edgar had someone make the call. Why is that?
She couldn't make the call herself.
Here it is, the bend in the river.
Why?
Because she was dead.
Damn.
Just say nothing.
The cow caught a bullet in her right lung. Fell into the canal grasping her tit and drowned. Or bled? Hard to say. It was a sloppy job. And a moving target. She was going home, waddling, dressed in yellow, drunk like she often was. The ruins were black around her, and she had a yellow leather bag under her arm. She tried to cross the canal, heading home to Grand Couronne or Betancourt, someplace like that, where they build those new bâtiments for the people who flourish in the hell around her, and the ruins.
It was you? Make a motion like shooting a rifle?
It was someone. Someone shot her. Or maybe she just fell. I get these violent ideations. My memory is filled with holes, especially the 30s. All I know is nothing changed. Not in the material base, not in the hegemony. There was no uprising. Just words. The Union fizzled, sogged. Nothing came of it. Nothing.
Is that really that surprising? These people came to power by murdering their predecessor?
Edgar didn't keep his part of the deal.
Anyone who's willing to resort to murder in that situation probably isn't that trustworthy. kind of one of the problems with violent revolutions in the first place is, you know, the leader of the violent revolution usually isn't that good of a person.
If you were to testify to this, give the RCM something on Edgar, you could walk.
I don't think he gives a shit.
We would strike everything you've done and process you as a POW. You were in a war. You were on assignment. We could even extradite you to the Samaran People's Republic.
A degenerate worker state. Go shit. No, thank you. I'm Revacholian. My days are short. I will rot away here, in a moral intern cell. I will not testify to anything.
But you did do it.
I saw it happen, and I liked it. That's all I have to say. I didn't live and fight for 40 years to end up as a collaborationist. I've heard it on Channel 8, 40 AM, Radio Revachol, late night. Everyone is a blobber in this world. Everyone betrays everyone. They're all already locked up for betrayal. The best ones, the ones with heart, were slaughtered, trampled.
The same old freezing hatred. There is plenty here to work with once he's in custody, and the lieutenant knows it. He gives you a little nod to proceed.
Glad.
Okay, well,
It's all
before,
gone.
let's let you know that we lied about Renee. And then we're gonna arrest you. Just to exhaust everything.
His lip curled.
Yes. Where is he? I hope he doesn't have debilitating arthritis. Or kidney stones. He can still come out to play with balls and get shot in the head, right?
Oh my God. He's even worried for him.
Renee's dead.
No.
Yes.
I waited too long. I waited too long and now he's dead?
I'm sorry, Mr. Dros. I understand you knew him for a long time.
They're all dead now. Fuck him.
If he really wanted to kill him so bad, he would have done. There must have been 1,000 black days on these islands. His health ailing.
He had 1,000 chances to kill him.
And I blew them all. What does it matter now? He's gone. Ancient dust.
He reminded him of himself. The same hatred. The same. You try to think of something else, but no. It's just hatred.
You cared about him.
All human beings care about each other. I cared for seeing his head explode. Now, God damn this world.
You alright?
You think I haven't seen people die? It's all I've seen them do. Fuck and die. All the other plans we had. To love. To colonize the Pale. It's all fucked.
He's not okay. This is just another black day in a row of black days. Something strange is keeping him together, making him endure.
Glad we talked about
All right.
what?
Isov Lilianovich Dros, you're under arrest for the murder of the criminal colonel here in Martinez.
What? But you said I would be taken to the...
This terror is the sum of all the uncontrollable movements and mood swings he's been exhibiting. The wind picks up. The silence on the water is broken all around you. Little shivers of waves appear. The lieutenant continues, like an incantation.
Your Wayfarer rights have been suspended. Information provided to the officers on the scene will be used against you by the prosecution. You will be given legal counsel within 1 week and must face court in 44 days.
44 days?
Do you understand?
Man, they somewhat run a tight ship here. I was expecting like 444 days.
Do you understand?
But...
He's afraid.
No, I don't want to. I have to stay here.
He looks at the reeds, eyes submerged in growing terror.
He's sweating. Beads are forming on his forehead.
Your confirmation is not required, sir. Now on to the boat.
Our perception's already maxed out. Ugh. Guess we should try it. It's very unlikely, but...
You thought you heard something, but it's just the reeds.
Maybe we could all fit in there.
Does it have room for 3?
Not really. We could escort him to the pier, then either one of us can take him inland while the other stays here, but...
But then, who watches him while you're coming back here?
You watches him while I come back for you?
You come back for me? How about I go and send a boat back for you?
Yeah, that's what I would prefer.
What is this farce? This is a fucking farce. I can't.
Lillian, you could ask her maybe.
I could, but I don't really want to. I want to watch him.
This is no harmless old man.
This fucking world. This world. What is this?
No, listen. Listen now.
Listen now. You could come back for me. I could come back for you once I've taken him to the precinct. I don't really get this. Listen now. Oh, maybe we could have waited to listen. And then we would have gotten like a plus here. Okay. Maybe that's what it's saying. You could come back for me once you've taken him to the precinct. If something dangerous happens, I want it to happen to us.
Okay, how about I take him to the precinct and you wait on the island?
I'll do it. Let's not get into... Wait. Yeah.
This world. What are you talking about? Is this... us?
Your skin is crawling suddenly.
Something going on over there. There's a damn Insulindian Phasmid. Holy shit.
A delicate tangle of arms and legs unfolds from the reeds, limb by limb, to then just stand there, moving its scythe-like arms in ghostly silence.
So if you hadn't done the cryptozoology quest, are you just super fucking confused right now? Blink?
It's still there, an unfolding mechanism of reed-like chitin, hovering in place.
Point to it?
What are you talking about?
The giant stick insect? Or maybe we're just hallucinating because we're about to fucking die.
There's nothing there.
The stick insect is over 3 meters tall. It looks straight at you with its tiny pinprick eyes and its grotesquely small head. You feel your legs shaking under you and your gun hand rise instinctively.
I see it.
Tell me what you see, damn it. I can't make out one small thing in the reeds.
Can you see it, Kim?
I can see it.
4 simple words, thank God. If he can see, then you're not insane. But that means it's really there, spinning slowly, in absolute silence, its limbs long and slender.
Be very, very careful.
This is a very strange thing to just suddenly start happening. Okay. Hey, Kim. Hey, you know I don't have my memory? I think it's very funny to bring this up now.
No response. He just arches his brow. He's having trouble processing it, believing it even.
I don't know, I just think it's so funny to bring this up now. I feel like I must repeat this. I don't remember anything.
Have you tried concentrating on something other than your personal affairs?
There is a sudden, harsh edge to his voice, like he's tired of hearing about your personal affairs.
What's wrong with personal affairs?
Not a fan. It's just the nature of lieutenancy.
The RCM deploys a self-styled structure called the Decomptage as its chain of command. Every lieutenant is responsible for 2 sergeants and 8 officers. That means the average lieutenant has to deal with quite a few personal affairs. Even you know this.
This is a medical situation.
Really? You look fine to me.
Okay.
Focus on other people's troubles, not your own. Have
Like,
you tried
There
no,
is a
it's
sudden-
really?
it's a seriously
His
unbelievable
psychodrama
damage.
is unbecoming of an officer.
Why are you being so mean to me?
Clearly, he prefers to think you're malingering. He cannot fathom that anyone could drink so much as to retroactively erase their entire
I guess because you're probably
life.
supposed to have this conversation on day one before you're best friends with Kim. It's not psychological, some sort of major brain damage.
Then you should consider seeking medical attention. You can use the radio in my kinema to call your station's Lazareth.
Alright.
Was there anything else you wanted?
I just wanted to let you know that I don't remember anything.
The creature stands on long stilt-like legs,
And we probably should have
antennae hanging from his head like a
equipped like
woman's
Inland Empire
hair,
shit or something. I don't
white
know.
and curled at the tips. It is no more than 5 steps away from you. Reed-like tufts stick out of its joints. As the insect moves,
Leave the
its
pheromone on
forearms produces
thick.
a faint hiss, like a reel-to-reel machine spinning after the tape breaks.
I don't know about your corpse being marked by the stars. I don't remember what that's from. I remember the pheromone and, of course, talking to Lena. If I rolled a 2, I would have kind of lost it.
Slowly, with your breath held, you take 2 small steps toward the Phasmid. The creature lets out
just
a
so
series
random.
of ultrasonic clicks that swarm around your head like swallows. Like laughter, a sort of happiness.
I mean, I do like that we found the Phasmid. I assumed it was part of the side quest that, like, you know, maybe you needed a certain level of Inland Empire to have a prompt show up along the coast. But we see why it wasn't in our traps.
Hissing and clicking, it extends its mandible-like antennae to greet you. You're right below it now, looking up at the colossal chitin of its white limbs. The head of the creature is crowned by reeds, and its eyes are like small droplets of water.
Raise your hand slowly.
The insect stops its stridulation, seeming to observe you. Below its crown of reeds, little pinprick eyes detect motion, glittering. The world stands still around you. Suddenly, there is silence.
Raise the other hand too.
As you do, the invertebrate comes to life, its limbs moving independent of each other, as if each has a mind of its own. They are white, like stalks of porcelain, knitting above you, praying to you.
Right, pray.
Unwittingly, the insect continues its stridulations. As it moves, tuft-like structures, still pretending to be plants, rustle along on its joints.
Hello, I'm Raphael. Don't really know who I am.
No reply. A total ancient silence comes from its mouth, along with what appears to be some kind of foam. The stridulations of its limbs continue all around you.
Look closely.
You were right. Little bubbles form on the mouth parts of the creature, on its segmented lower lip. It looks to be foaming, slowly.
Okay,
The
you're still
foam
down there.
is
I can still
white,
see you in the corner. You're not running
then
away.
yellowish.
It's foaming.
Careful. It may be poisonous.
Could be like alien blood.
The foam slowly turns a darker shade, like burnt
Did not give up on the
as the
Phasmid.
insect moves its mouth parts.
And you have
Masticated.
parthenogenesis?
The little bubbles begin to burst, one by one.
Okay, yeah, it could be like some eggs or something. What are you doing?
I exist.
I exist too.
Tell me what it's like for you.
Fire, burning.
Fire? Where?
Inside.
I do not have fire inside me. In me, there is not even blood, but lymph, like sap from a wine palm. Now, I will tell you what it's like for me. For me, it is a series of half-lit images, a kind of darkness, being intruded upon, transient, dim, moist,
Intruded upon by what?
shapes of plants and animals, and internal sensations, a swarm of sounds, tiny vibrations on the inside of my forearms, all speak of complexities totally beyond my understanding. I am at the end of a narrow funnel. Weightless. So light, it only feels like something to be me. In truth, perhaps I'm nothing. I certainly do not have a soul. And if I did, it would never burn.
The type of animal I'd like to be.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Sometimes, when molting, I will grow a lost limb. One time something went wrong, and a small leg replaced a missing antenna.
It's cool.
No, the leg tried to move around independently, making it hard to walk.
You don't have a foot there now.
Yes, thankfully someone ate it. The next time I molded, I grew an antenna again.
I'm a detective.
So am I. I was born to detect sucrose rewards and semiochemicals. What were you born to detect?
Killer.
He's in a bad state, deteriorating fast now. He thinks I am beneficial to him, but I am not. I only quicken his deterioration.
You're destroying him?
Very slowly, and only because he won't go away. It is meant to keep them from noticing me, to interfere with the pictures in their heads. But he has looked at me for too long, and I am destroying him.
That's actually kind of interesting. So the neurological stuff is from this thing. Where does this come from? All of this around us, the world.
Not even the birds know that. Not even the water lily.
And all we can do is beat our fists against it, day after day with no answer?
You can also eat it. If it's a leaf, you can put it in your mouth. Yum yum. Or read.
What exactly are you?
I am an unknown species of the order Phantasmodia, endemic to the Insulandian Insula. For the last 350 years, I have hidden in plain sight, masquerading as the reeds, molding, cloning myself, unfolding at night to play with trash bins and boys. I went unnoticed by the first settlers and the land surveyors of the suzerain, also by the soldiers of the revolution and officials of the occupation. Even the Seminese islanders who came here first, but did not stay, have not seen me. I have stayed hidden through 4 forms of government and 2 scientific revolutions, until I was accidentally discovered by a detective of the citizen militia in Rebirth, district of Martinez, March 51.
That's insane.
No, you are. The moral of our encounter is, I am a relatively medium life form, while it is you who are a total extreme madness. A volatile simian nerve system ominously new to the planet. The Pale too came with you. No one remembers it before you. The Nidarians do not. The radially symmetrics do not. There is an almost unanimous agreement between the birds and the plants that you are going to destroy us all.
Well, that's probably true, but what's the Pale?
It is a nervous shadow cast into the world by you, eating away at reality. A great, unnatural territory. Its advent coincides with the arrival of the human mind.
I don't have that kind of power. Well, personally.
You're a violent and irrepressible miracle. The vacuum of cosmos and the stars burning in it are afraid of you. Give me enough time, you will wipe us all out and replace us with nothing. Just by accident.
Ow.
We suspect it will be something like the oxygen holocaust that wiped out anaerobic life 2.6 billion years ago, when organisms first started breathing. Only much worse.
Instead of air, you exhale thoughts. There are no trees that eat thoughts.
Worse how?
Everything your eyes touch goes back there, behind the nose mirror. What if you blink? Are we still here? Please don't blink. What if he misplaces us all one day, or just forget?
Okay, okay. The thing that popped into my head is kind of like a meta idea of like narratives, right? That narratives and media only exist, like they're not real, right? They only exist as long as people are there to enjoy them and experience them. I'll be extra careful not to blink, stinking sec. Don't worry.
Please be. Or one day, one of you will close your eyes and sign, and open them to see that none of this ever existed.
Because in a way, you know, people do create entire worlds and beings and characters with their own thoughts that exist in, you know, a sort of ether. You know, it's not tangible. And it, you know, if you ever forget about it, it's gone. Is this a dream?
No, you are awake. I am real. Light is forming me. This is real.
Kim, am I having a violent epileptic seizure?
It doesn't look like that, no.
What does it look like?
You're just staring at it.
Think I'm having a vision about the final fate of mankind?
Okay. Is it somehow related to the case?
I told you what it's about, our fate.
I think we should take the picture, and then you should back away from the unstudied species.
I want to go back into this one here.
Pale too. King, you're a violet. Voices.
Instead of there, you...
Everything your eyes touch goes back there. Behind the nerve mirror.
Yeah, I want to say this.
What if you blink? Are we still here?
I've already forgotten the whole world once.
So it is already happening. Soon, one of you will close your eyes and open them to see that none of this ever existed.
I have to say goodbye now. I have no more thoughts. That was all.
No, there is one more.
Definitely the kindest of all the creatures.
Thank you. I also have one more thing to say to you. That woman, turn from the ruin. Turn and go forward. Do it for the working class.
I'll try.
She was middle class. It doesn't take a 3-meter stick insect to tell you that.
Thanks. Okay, Kim. Take the picture.
Okay.
There is no change in the insect's motion while it's being aimed by the camera. It remains fixated on you.
In 3. If it moves, you jump back. I'll shoot.
We're not shooting.
Here we go.
Unless you mean the camera. We're not gonna shoot the fucking legendary cryptid.
The shrill flash of the camera cuts the air like the blade of a sword. The Phasmid freezes in its bright light.
Unless it
Head
starts
turned
attacking me, then its
toward
ass
the
is
lieutenant.
grass.
Hypnotized by the flash, it stands frozen before you.
I got it.
Hear the lieutenant whisper as the creature's shape develops onto photo paper in his hand. Polychrome ghost of white streaks against the reeds in the sky, and you as a shadow before it.
For all time.
Slowly reach out and touch the creature's whisker.
The antennae hang from a great height. With your hand shaking, you barely touch the tip of the left whisker. On contact, the chitin curls into a spiral, like the tip of a poison ivy. Its touch on your fingertip feels cold,
Hey, we're
ticklish.
wearing gloves.
It is surprisingly delicate, the curly end of the whisker, like a young vine. It's even a bit wet.
Be careful, detective. It's moving.
Look at your finger.
You were right. It glistens with some kind of moisture. The creature in front of you stays frozen.
This is fucking stupid, but it's an option. They wouldn't kill me, would they?
It tastes like sugar, very faint. The anthropod towers above you, tufts of reeds.
I hope it
pointing
didn't just
from
like
limb
eat
and
your
head alike.
children or something.
Odorless, mostly comprised of water.
Okay, let's keep pushing our luck.
The limb before you is incredibly light, like eggshell. It's much lighter than a reed. You feel a soft push could tip the creature over.
Okay, let's not do
Its
that.
hollow exoskeleton collapsing.
Pull your hand away.
A sudden shiver passes the limb. Looks like the creature is awakening. Wave by wave from its stupor,
We got it.
another shudder pulses through the creature's limbs. It jolts back to life, like a record continuing where it left off, in a swaying, praying motion. Even the small black pearls of its eyes do not stray from you.
Disengage slowly.
As you're turning away, the Phasmid mirrors your movements, stepping on the water, the long limbs carrying its feather weight without breaking its surface.
Now, there is the question of we're like over an hour, but like I don't know if this is the end of the game. So I guess we're gonna keep going. Like I'm gonna keep this recording.
Just like that, it's gone, skating away across the sea's calm mirror like a skipping stone, leaving nothing but circles on the water.
And depending on how much game is left, this will probably turn into the finale. Or if there's still like a more than an hour before the game ends, then we're just gonna cut it here and pick up in the next video.
And something under it, in the place it stood, bobbing there, among the reeds, a collection of items.
It's gone.
The lieutenant looks north with his hand raised to its brow. He can walk on water?
Apparently, yes. Like a water strider. Only, I've never seen anything like that in my life.
What's that in the reeds?
Looks like a nest of some sort. We should have a look.
What now?
What now?
Old man behind you repeats suddenly. He's put his hand into the ash. It's dirty and black.
In some kind of strange, semi-catatonic state.
Our suspect is not looking so good. We need to check on him.
Yeah, that's definitely very fucking random. I kind of like it though. Huh. The helmet.
Brother, you've managed to collect all the armor pieces.
Wait, we did?
Too bad it's
What
too
about the
late for
legs?
the big showdown.
I assumed there were legs that I just missed. I don't think this helmet would have helped me anyway.
It would have looked very impressive.
I got an
Still,
achievement.
You found it all. Now your mortal coil is completely protected. Few cops are this futuristic.
Yeah, see, I assumed we were missing a leg piece, not a helmet. I thought we needed some pants. Yeah, sure. Let's suit up all the way. With a pistol and a gun. Let's go. What does it even give? Half-light minus suggestion. Pretty meh, but I guess you do kind of get it for free. Monster's looking bug-eye ceramic helmet was in the Phasmid's nest. Still has some reeds sticking out of it, and it smells of seawater. It's otherwise wearable, if not exactly comfortable. Seaweed is stuck on the lens and it suffered water damage. I mean, I guess if they're giving us stuff, then maybe we still have a chance to sell things? I don't know. I'm just not really sure. Like, I don't really know what would be left after we arrest this guy. I'm presuming this is the end of the game.
What is it? What do you want from me? I can't go.
Something is very wrong with him now.
How could you not see the Phasmid?
See.
I mean, I guess you think that's a legal defense? Hey, Your Honor, I can't be held responsible for my actions. My brain was fried by an ancient creature that nobody's ever seen before.
Mr. Dros?
The man does not respond. He keeps staring, black eyes glazed over and bulging from their sockets, his gap-toothed mouth shaking with fear and longing.
Touch your shoulder gently.
The plastic cape feels coarse. A light shiver passes the man. Other than that, no reaction. He feels small and frail.
He's going into some kind of psychomotor immobility. The good news is, this solves our transportation problem. Doesn't it, Mr. Dros?
The trembling mouth appears to sigh.
Between this and the broken tire he's used for a boat, I think it's safe to leave him here, while we go and get help. It will need to be medical first, I'm afraid.
Found some things in the Phasmid's nest.
He stares into the reeds. Your words don't stir anything in him. Perhaps you should.
Show him the scope.
I lost.
You lost it, Mr. Dros?
He turns his eyes to the reeds again, as he's done so many times. Beige and white stripes.
He lost the scope. Then it somehow made its way over there. With the help of a mark by Phasmid.
Lieutenant observes the lens sparkle in your hands.
This sight is a T9, Mr. Dros. Was it attached to the rifle when you made the shot?
Silence. Not even a sigh. You've gotten all you will out of this poor being.
I tap your helmet.
Nothing. Just dull staring. Not even rage left, wherever he is.
If Kuno kicked it into the sea, as he said he did, the ebb would put it back here. This makes sense. Mr. Dros could have picked it up. Or the Phasmid even. If it did, this is incredible.
It didn't really occur to me that that means that he had a full-faced helmet on while he was fucking. Because, I mean, he had all the armor on while he was doing the deed. Like, a little creepy. Especially because this helmet is, a little weird looking. Not really what I would want to see,
The plastic
personally.
cape flaps around his face in a gust of wind. His back is slouched, and his mouth open. The blacks of his eyes are receding. His pupils are returning to normal.
What's happened to this guy?
Old age and shock.
I think it's the Phasmid.
Yes, the arrest and the appearance of the Phasmid. The combined stress. But you think it's something more than that, don't you?
Well, I don't think the Phasmid told me.
There's much more. Remember what it said when it spoke. Quite a few things about that health check you did on him make sense now.
I talked to the Phasmid. It said it's destroying him.
You should be more careful, detective. Are you sure it wasn't having an effect on you?
Maybe. Anyway, it's only trying to remain unseen. The degradation is a side effect.
A valid hunch. Long-term exposure to something like that could be neurodegenerative. Also, please be careful when approaching a known species in the future, detective.
Are you telling me I shouldn't have touched its whiskers and then licked its fluid? When I evaluated his state, he seemed strangely animated.
He was energetic and articulate. After all these years alone, with little hygiene or medication, I would expect worse.
Perhaps this animation is induced by something in the Phasmid?
It does not seem to be animated now it's left. Honestly, I'm ready to believe anything at this point. Maybe it is psychoactive. I mean, why not? It's 3 meters tall.
He takes off his glasses and cleans them. When he puts them back on, he's still staring at the sea. He couldn't see it, it's just the reeds for him.
That could be part of the shock. But you're right, something is off here. Mr. Dros,
No response.
This is how it stayed hidden all these years?
then how did we see it? Oh, you mean, whatever does this, does it over time? Teenagers, kids, drunks, sightings are brief, and hence not credible. But anyone who spends a long time with it.
You forget it's there.
Mr. Dros, have you ever seen a stick insect pretending to be the reeds?
The old man stutters.
The doctors will have to look at this. I hope your station has better medical personnel than 57. This is a little advanced for a nurse.
Could be something hormonal in the
You
relationship?
mean pheromonal?
I mean, he did seem a little off for a man of his age.
The scope? Knowing of her bruises? His disposition toward Miss Orania? I see what you mean.
He's been here for a long time. Who knows how much of it's in his company?
He did seem distressed when it finally came to arresting him. Like he didn't want to leave this place. And the insect, maybe. I have absolutely forgotten to take notes. I hope I remember all of this.
Always the one time you
This
needed
would
to
be
take
one hell
notes.
of a report. Thank God we have the photo.
No one would believe you without it.
Hang tight, buddy.
We should think about getting back to the mainland. To get help. He'll be safe here. If we don't take too long.
Well, we'll see. Presumably, I mean, the only thing I can think of, I mean, the only really, like, loose end left is us, right? And potentially our cop friends who are coming here. So there could be something with the Puta Madre. I don't know. Because I don't know if that's something that's going to be important or not. It could just be kind of, you know, side stuff to showcase our situation. But the way Ruby talks is it makes it sound like we're more than just, you know, some somewhat corrupt cop who's taking money from a drug guy to not arrest his dudes, and like we actually work for him on like big operations. Let's try this again.
Serialized.
Kind of really no point though. We do have a bunch of skill points, but I'm like, I don't really know what to put them in. I don't know, we'll put a point in suggestion, I guess. But I'm guessing I'm gonna keep most of them in case we get like a really hard skill check. We could try and put a bunch of points into it before it happens. Cause I don't really want to unlock thoughts or anything. Cause like, you know, I'm not, cause I can't think of what else there is. Like game-wise, I feel like it has to be almost done.
The skiff is swaying on the waves by the dock.
Let's return to the mainland.
Let's. We are done here.
The skiff rocks gently under your weight as you get in. The ride back is uneventful and quiet. But for the sound of conversation on the water, there is someone inland waiting for you. 2 men and a woman stand on the concrete square of a nameless village, looking at a small yellow boat as it draws closer. The sea is calm. You reach the jetty and climb out of the skiff.
Make a hard save. Yeah, actually, since I'm just recording this video long, I need to pause for a second because I need to do set the title and description for some of today's videos. So be right back. Alright, we're back. Let's go confront our crew.
Look what the tide brought him.
Says the man without sunglasses. Suddenly his expression changes and he tilts his head.
I want to call you a teapot, but I'm honestly kind of impressed. No idea where you got all that gear, but there's no doubt in my mind that some bad people are looking for it.
Yeah, they're dead.
Also, you look like a fucking idiot.
Bro, look at you.
Whatever this is, it is completely unimportant compared to what you've just seen.
Armor, no one else seems bothered by it.
Oh, really? They don't seem bothered by it? That's because you're a cop in an exoskeleton.
Yeah, I'm a cop in a goddamn exoskeleton. Speaking of exoskeletons...
Are you still a cop? There's so much disco going on, it's hard to tell.
Vic, calm down.
Forget about this. There's a giant...
We're not forgetting about anything. Look at you.
I mean, I know who you people are, but I guess I have to say it.
Hello, Trent Heilerstein.
Oh.
I believe we've met on several occasions.
Okay. I was wondering who the third person was. But yeah, it was you this whole time. That's kind of neat.
I'm your goddamn partner, Jean-Vic Comar, and this is your special task force. Or what's left of it. Special Consultant Trent Heilerstam, Patrol Officer Judith Minot.
Hi.
We've come to scrape what's left of you off the pavement.
Bro, I'm doing fine.
Lieutenant Kim Kitsuragi, Precinct 57. We've just come from the island, where our investigation led us.
The scene is making even him feel as though he has to justify your actions.
Now, I've been doing damn good police work. You guys are potentially corrupt, so I'm not, you know, hesitating to start slashing.
We might need your help with something later.
As if he recalled that he's in fact a decorated police lieutenant and not a naughty boy.
But this is clearly a departmental matter, so I'm going to leave you to discuss it among yourselves.
Nah, Kim, you gotta have my back.
It's good to meet you, Lieutenant Kitsuhagi.
Flashing the lieutenant the tiniest of smiles.
Letting the lieutenant know he shouldn't feel embarrassed over the shitstorm that's about to befall you.
What did we do? Okay. Oh, yeah. I mean, we did murder 2 guys, but like, they had it coming.
Ari, we want to help you. Trent, I believe this is where you come in?
This is the horse-faced woman.
I don't know why you keep calling her
why
that.
you named her that, but it was beyond idiotic. You should never address her using those words again.
I would never do that. That's fucking Harry. Raphael's a good boy.
I don't quite know what I'm doing here. I was asked to participate as an expert. I think I need to manage your expectations a little. I'm at best an enthusiast in cognitive science. My background is in something else entirely. I engage in neurology on a merely theoretical level. In fact, I should probably get going.
You're not gonna shock my brain, alright? My brain's doing fine. My brain's better than it's ever been.
No, Trant, it's too late. You're part of this shit now. What have you got to say for yourself, shit kid?
What?
What does he have to say for himself? He left you to catch the bullets.
Alright, so, you aren't the man with the sunglasses at all. You're not even blind.
Guilty as charged. I heard you'd lost your mind and your memory. I wanted to see if it was true, and it was. Good work, Harry. You're insane now. There's one less person for me and everyone else to rely on.
Shouldn't they be congratulating us for being the dopest cop?
He was too sarcastic for you to realize who he was.
Maybe if you hadn't been so sarcastic, I would have realized I knew you.
I'm clinically depressed, Harry. Sorry if I wasn't in the mood to batter you up after you told us to fuck off.
Okay, but like, I had that coming.
Had what coming? Not recognizing people you work with every day. Brain damage.
How you know I was here?
The cafeteria manager you fucked over.
What
told
are you
us where
talking
went.
about? I saved his establishment?
Strange. He didn't mention that. In fact, the establishment didn't look saved at all. There was a giant aerograffito in front of the building. It was on fire.
Yeah, I lit it on fire. It was a poetic
I
gesture.
knew it. Didn't I tell you, Trump?
Okay.
I told you. It was
I'll
a
give you
shit
that
hit.
one. That doesn't necessarily look good. But like, we didn't do the whole
The
thing.
line is from Lou Giatun's Mirova 82.
Don't say the M word.
About girl-child communism, the titular returning character to ghost the apparition of... Good choice, Harry.
Don't encourage him, Trump.
See, okay, at least you're still cool.
Okay.
Sorry I didn't recognize you before, lady.
It's okay. I didn't come here to gloat or to fool you. Neither did he, actually. We're just worried.
It doesn't sound like it. We got fucking shot in the line of duty.
That's right. Worried. I'm always worried about you. Every time you don't show up to work, or when you do about stink.
Like, I mean, you guys should have been in the know. You knew the tribunal was happening. Where the hell were you?
You're a worry fest. She's worried about you. I'm worried about you. Even Special Consultant Backpedal is worried about you. Everyone worries instead of working.
So Trant Heidelstein turns out to be special consultant Trant Heidelstein?
Yes, I'm Tran Heilerstein. I never said I wasn't Tran Heilerstein.
What's up with the kid?
Mikhail? Mikhail's my son.
Oh, okay.
No problem.
So what are you special consulting here for?
What indeed? I was asked to share my take on some of the more obscure theories developed in Königstein in the 30s, like partial psychotraumatic amnesia, group personality theory.
I don't want my old self back here. He was an asshole.
He's here to see if you're insane. He's smart. Let's move on.
You mentioned there was a task force?
Yeah, Major Crimes Unit, under Lieutenant Dubois and Vicomar. Ring any bells?
Fresh on memory, who else is in this?
Refresh your memory? It's a goddamn Major Crimes Unit. There's you, me, Jude, Tron fucking Heidelstein, and Guillaume Baby.
Okay, we don't know that last guy?
I'm technically just a civilian advisor.
Oh, fuck you. You're part of this shit show.
Who's that guy?
Oh, that's an interesting story, actually. Guillaume Bevy is a police reporter who joined our team. He was really good. Then he left because he lost faith in your ability to lead the unit.
I don't know. I feel like this whole, like, consternation would be better if it happened towards the start of the game when we were a fuck-up, not now that we're the greatest cop in history.
Other people have left too. Good, smart people. People we won't get back. Only me and this really patient patrol officer are still here. And Tron because I'm forcing him to stay.
How are you forcing him?
Is this Guillaume Bevy blonde and partial to sunglasses?
Is he blonde with sunglasses like you were?
See? There. He's getting it. I was impersonating him. Look at me, I'm GBV. It was going to be funny, but then you really did have brain damage. So not so much anymore.
And it's like, even if we do have brain damage, why are you so mad at us for having brain damage? This is a traumatic experience for us. We didn't ask, okay, maybe we did ask to have our memory erased, but like, there should be some more sympathy.
He sincerely thought it was going to be amusing for both of you.
What does the unit do?
It's a major crimes unit. We clear the desk of cases so Precinct 41 doesn't look like the worst station in town. We are shit tier now, Harry. Because of you.
But, like, we're doing good work. We solved the entity.
They're your posse, or what remains of it. Hand-picked, hand-lost.
The 41st isn't...
Where have you been all this time? That was a mercenary tribunal?
God damn it, Harry. You told us to fuck off. You said we're cramping your style. Your detective god. Fuck everything. All we burn. Detect or die.
Why would you leave a literal police god?
You were crying hysterically. You were drunk, breaking things, being emotionally abusive. You said we were going into the abyss.
Did you?
None of us wanted to see the abyss. So we fucked off. Like you told us to.
Okay, but going
God
back.
damn it, you told us to fuck
You
off.
let me face a squad of
You
trained
said
killers
we're
alone
cramping
just to
your
teach me a
style.
lesson?
It wasn't like that.
Sounds like it.
Fuck you, Harry. We didn't know there was gonna be a tribunal, did we?
Okay, well, I'm not like that anymore.
Sure. You're not a superstar law official. Talk on the town is your Guillaume Le Million reincarnate. I know this shit.
What are
Nothing
you
has
talking
changed.
about? First off, we're primarily... Actually... Okay, we actually are more superstar than Sorry Cop now, which is weird, because we were like so far ahead on Sorry, but there haven't been that many chances to be Sorry lately. How do we have 4 boring cop points? That's crazy. But look at our good cop, bad cop. Now I don't really know if 30 is good or bad. No one's who they say they are.
Duped? Hey, here's a brilliant idea. Don't be a morbid drunk and you won't be duped so easily.
Gardener, scab leader. Please tell me you're who you are, Kim.
Yes, I'm still Kinki Solagi, still a lieutenant from Precinct 57.
Thanks.
Still caught up in this crossfire, too.
Alright, let's move on.
The bells aren't ringing because you have brain damage. Detective God. Trant, this is where you come in. How bad is it?
I don't want to be Harry.
Well, he doesn't have visible tremors, he talks without slurring, he can drive a boat, he's standing, reasoning. All good signs, but complete retrograde amnesia, episodic and semantic.
Meaning, you forgot both who you are and the definitions of money, Isola, Pell, and so on.
I don't know if that's true. I mean, the Pale we forgot. We didn't forget the definition of the Pale because we never knew it because the Pale was made up.
As displayed in a station call, our interactions with him, and I don't want to be a snitch, but also mine with him before when Harry did not seem to know who I was. It's all very interesting.
Interesting?
Yes, interesting. I have my theories, but I would like to hear Harry's thoughts first. Harry, what do you think happened to you? Neurologically, psychologically, and why not socioeconomically?
Alright. I mean, the real answer is we drank so much lost memory and now I'm slowly recovering it, but what other options do we have? Yeah, something so sad happened to me that I couldn't be me anymore. It was a defense mechanism.
Psychotraumatic amnesia, Trant? I can go for that. Shit kid is a broken man. Always has been. Who isn't? I know I am. But you know what? I keep my shit together. Also, I know a person can't wipe their own mind, however traumatic it gets. That doesn't happen. You're lying, or insane, or both.
This is such a weird sequence. Like, why are they so mad at us for, like, losing our memory?
But Detective Vigmer, he has blanked out before.
I have?
Yes, a couple of times. After some of the more serious benders. One was after the 2 drunks case. The other when we looked into that mural.
I've never looked at the case for that one. But the 2 drunks, that's not when we assaulted a man so bad that he ended up in the hospital forever?
Interesting. So at first he dipped his toes into it, prepared. That's where he would have gotten the idea, yes. Practice. And then he used alcohol to get there, so to speak.
What do you mean?
Well, here's my theory. What if this is an absolutely normal reaction to the world we're living in? What if this is not a significant anomaly at all? Something to be explained, approached as a defect? Look at the sensory input here.
Hey, by the way, can you guys look at this picture of this freaking alien we found? I feel like that's way more interesting than like, oh, we got blackout drunk and forgot who we are, or whatever. We're like a better person now. We're like so super cool.
Look at the ruins, the neon. Listen to the radio, the multitudes, the people. Live here for 40 years. As a police detective, he's like a magnetic reader on the world tape, to borrow a known metaphor. Harry's been pushed flat against it. Total input. Hardwired to the free market. He just needed for it to end.
Okay, Trent, thank you. That's absolutely
Okay, oh, that's what I was thinking?
I'm glad we brought you. Will he or will he not be able to work in the major crimes unit? Is he a cretin now? I want to know that.
I mean, isn't us solving the case proof that we're a great cop?
He's not a cretin, and he is able to do work. If not in his previous leadership role, then as a line detective.
Leadership, now.
I'm ready to lead.
No one even mentioned that. I misphrased my question. It should have been, is he able to put his clothes on and use the body? Or do we need to get him on a disability pension?
Hey, Kim, when are you going to stick up for me and talk about how good a cop we are?
Now nothing. Now we're just going to stand here.
Really?
No. Now we discuss that. What the fuck did you do to a motor carriage?
Oh.
Why is it there, Harry?
I mean, let's just be honest. I drove into the ocean when I was drunk.
Ah, so refreshing. He just admits it. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for destroying 45,000 real of police property that's coming out of everyone's payslip.
Okay, well, here's what you need to do. Give us the bill. We're going to go into this container, and when we're in the container, our money value shoots up dramatically, and then you can take it out of our bank account that's like really huge in that exact moment, only when we're in the container though. Unless the guy's left the container, then we might need to track him down first, but like, we can get you 45k easy.
It doesn't matter. Your badge, Harry. Show me your badge.
I do have this futuristic armor. I have my badge.
In a rush to demonstrate your badge, your eager fingers can't sustain a grip on the smooth plastic, and the badge slips
This
out
is
of
important.
your hand.
Okay.
Not today, badge.
Behold!
And your gun?
I have it in my hand!
As if having your badge and gun are natural states, not achievements.
My gun is right here.
He has it. And he didn't drop it. You're drunk like
We're
bird,
not
Harry.
drunk.
Put that thing away before you kill someone.
I feel like there should be, you know, considering that like this one took 20 hours and it's by far like the longest like time investment for a thought, there should be more dialogue for like us actually being sober. Like so many of the thoughts actually have like special dialogue for them. That one should. Oh, actually there is. Never mind. But in the past there have been times where they accuse us of being drunk and I'm like, but we're sober. Yeah, I quit drinking forever. It's only me in this boring hellhole now.
I don't buy it. Why do you smell like a corpse then, huh?
Because we're bleeding to death, and we might die at the end of this game, and then you're gonna feel so fucking sad.
He's wounded. It's been a long week, and he's handled an actual corpse.
Okay. I washed death off me.
The man doesn't reply, but his expression speaks for him.
I stuck my hand into a dude's brain, alright? Cut us some slack.
You should have done a better job, is what it's saying.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a week. I'm sorry I smell bad.
A bit of a week? You're drunk, and you let a suspect escape. A
She didn't
certain
do it.
Classier, because you were too drunk to assess a flight risk.
Wrong? We only had a little bit of alcohol to defeat racism. Have you defeated racism? No, you haven't? Oh, okay. Because while in the past week we defeated racism and built communism and found the killer and found all this sweet armor and stopped a woman from abusing her daughter and assessed why the dice maker lady still gets to live and rolled the super cursed dice of awesome coolness, and we did all kinds of stuff that you don't even need to know about. Oh yeah, we found an ancient legendary creature. You find an ancient legendary creature? No? Okay, because you're a loser?
We've read the reports, Harry. Lieutenant Kitsuhagi's. We know.
Okay. First things first. I mean, this is true. There is an oxygen holocaust coming in. That's like pretty big deal. But yeah, not taking her in was the right thing to do.
Oh well, if she was nice. I'm not even gonna get into the other suspect, who also escaped. Yeah, Ruby something.
You guys are jumping to conclusions.
Or the fact that you're Edgar Claire's little peony now, doing I don't know what for him. That's
Actually, we sabotaged his
That's
plan.
nothing. That's a humorous anecdote. Compared to the 7 people who were gunned
Actually,
down,
just 6.
the streets are literally red with blood, Harry. It was fucking mass murder.
There's literally nothing else I could have done, as far as I know. Like, I mean, I tried to do a peaceful solution, and the game wouldn't let me. The game said you have to shoot this guy in the head, and I said okay.
He did everything he could. We did everything we could. The company hired and vetted mercenaries. Lieutenant Dubois got between them and the locals.
Here comes the cavalry.
He did so at considerable risk to his own life. He was shot and survived only because of his armor. We stopped an execution, not a negotiation. The loss of life was minimal compared to what it could have been.
I also solved the case.
Detective, it's better if I do that.
It's so much better if he does this.
Fine.
1,000,000 times better.
Thank you for the input, Lieutenant Kitsuragi. I didn't mean to suggest you didn't handle the situation.
He thinks of apologizing, but decides against it.
You've spent the week with him on this case. What is your take?
On the case?
On Lieutenant Yofretor Dubois.
Bro, he loves us, baby.
Well, the drinking, the gun losing, also losing the badge. That's all true. Although he has not been drinking on the job this week.
Except for that one little time where we defeated racism. Alright, I don't want to make it seem like we're lying, because we did drink a little bit, but it was purely for a good cause.
See?
1 week.
Then there's the superstardom. He likes to, from time to time, allude to being a superstar law official. At first I thought it was a joke,
We also say
but
we're sorry a
now
lot.
I'm not so sure.
I feel like we're more
He
of a
says
sorry cop,
disco
honestly.
about 20 times a day.
But being a superstar is also kind of cool.
It's worrying, especially considering his political views. Detective Dubois is, as you may know, a Mazovian socio-economist. He's even gotten involved in a highly theoretical underground reading group, which, again, for a police officer, is unusual.
It just means we're trying to understand the world and better ourselves.
You should yell something.
I'm a policeman of the state to come.
The RCM consists of policemen of the state that is, so a little discrepancy there. And then there's the motor carriage in the sea, something I was not
Aw.
present for. But despite all this, he is a great detective, one of the best I have seen, in fact. He can talk human beings into telling him anything, and he doesn't stop. In all the time I've spent with him, he has not once stopped working.
But that's
on
not
the
really
case.
true,
He is tireless, madly driven.
because we do a lot of side stuff.
Well, except that one time when he stopped to sing karaoke, which, by the way, I have to disagree with you, Mr. Vicmar, was a valiant effort. He really sang his heart out.
Okay, he did something.
Other than that one time, he has tirelessly worked on the case, and he solved it. We have a confession, a murder weapon, and the perpetrator.
He's not really locked,
on the
though,
island right now, awaiting transportation.
because he could easily just run away. I mean, just because he was locked in a stupor when we left doesn't mean he still is.
He apprehended a revolutionary brigade who stayed hidden for 50 years, ever since the revolution, who's probably committed other murders over those years. Oh, and he also discovered a new species.
A species that warned us of the incoming death of all life.
A new species?
A colossal stick insect. It was on the island, camouflaged as the reeds. It unfolded from the reeds. I think we may be dealing with the Insulindian Phasmid.
He takes out the photo of the Phasmid and shows it to the officers across the yard. The wind blows, flapping the glossy rectangle in his hand.
I mean, this is cool, a way to kind of recap everything that you've done and have Kim, stand witness as testament to you. I do think the start's a little weird where they're like, this guy's so fucking mad at you for losing your memory. But,
You hear gasps beneath the howling of the wind.
I feel like there should be like a little bit more sympathy or like willingness to hear us out.
As you can see, it's about 3 meters tall. In fact, we think it may be the largest land invertebrate ever discovered.
Yeah, Hosanaya.
Fucking hell is that? Is this somehow connected to the case?
A little bit.
Detective?
I believe the pheromone it emits may be responsible for the killer's mental degradation.
The old man was not aware of the Phasmid's presence. Exhibiting a strange, atypical dementia, he fell into a stupor after its appearance. He became near catatonic.
So it is connected.
Damn right.
I must say, this is absolutely extraordinary. I don't even have words for it.
And we found a cool helmet.
Yes. It really does make it hard to fire the drunk.
We're not drunk.
This is a very, very sad man who has just seen something that's made him forget his sadness. Now you make your case. Now is the time. Now or never.
Okay, well, the previous head of the Debitars Union was assassinated by our killer.
This is a conversation for when we are no longer out in the open. In Martinez, where Everard and Edgar Claire have ears everywhere.
Understood, of course.
But a case against Everard would be big.
I would prefer not to partake in anything union-related, for political neutrality.
Nah, fuck him. Murder bad.
This has to be good stuff for him to backpedal out of it at first mention.
Also, the Phasmid was female. The reeds are its nest.
Female? What makes you think so?
Well, it told me.
You had to see it. It had the subdued colors of a female. And the nesting behavior too, I think.
Incredible. Were there eggs in the nest?
We don't think so.
Not as far as I could see. There were other things there, though.
It reproduces by parthenogenesis.
As in cloning itself? What makes you think so?
It told me.
Interesting. Then it is especially vulnerable to disease. A single strain of bacteria could wipe out the entire species. We're probably talking conservation efforts here.
It gathered items in its nest, a helmet and a scope.
Actually, you know, this would indicate it was a male. This is far from anything in my field, but I think such nests are called bowers. They are for attracting mates.
Well, I mean, it sounded like a female. I mean, it can be whatever it wants, but...
Of course, as I said, I'm only guessing. I didn't see it. It must be robust if it can move a whole helmet with its limbs.
It had mandibles that looked like hair, and it was completely white on the inside.
Yes, but also reed-colored, beige and brown, a little green on the outside. After unfolding from a single stalk, it still retained parts that looked like reed tufts on its limbs.
Incredible. The PR value of this is exceptional. Carp discovers new species. Maybe even discovers the Insulindian Phasmid. No, that's too much.
Our next case, we're going after fucking Sasquatch. Your ass is mine.
This would really help with some of the problems we've been having.
Hey, you know all that police brutality stuff? Yeah, fuck that. Look at this cool thing this cop got found.
Absolutely, this is great. This does not say vigilante murderers to me at all. This says science, news, human interest. You know, it's a really good thing you have that photo.
Without it,
You're doing good here. Perhaps only for a moment, but still. Quit while you're ahead?
No.
No.
There was a dead man, a missing person I found.
yes. Fallen through a gap in a boardwalk. Drunk.
And you know I found him.
The body was transported to Precinct 41, our morgue. I had Tilbrook and Mullins take care of funeral arrangements and family stuff.
You're not the only cop in the world, Harry. This all comes back to us.
We're the only cop that looks this damn cool, though.
Still, good work with the missing person, detective.
It's still a point for you. No denying it.
I also looked into the mystery of the dim commercial area.
I don't know what a dim commercial area is.
Rue de Saint Germain 10, a commercial building where all businesses go bankrupt. I looked into it.
Why? That's not what you were supposed to do here.
There was a fridge we needed and a possible witness. He was just chasing a lead and ended up advising a local shopkeeper. It was okay.
We also saved a child from potential abuse.
Of course. Call it community outreach, right?
Confiscated drugs from Kuno's dad and then gave them to Kuno. Maybe we shouldn't mention this? Yeah, I don't think we're going to mention the Kuno's dad thing, because technically we did then give the drugs to a minor. But yeah, the killer, we have a strong motive.
Lilianovich. A revolutionary matronym.
A revolutionary matronym?
The custom started in Grad, where they have patronyms. Krasovich, Lasovich, etc. The revolutionaries saw this as a chauvinist atavism, so they used matronyms, derived from the mother's name instead. This man's mother was Lily. His Lilian's son, Lilianovich. The custom was overturned after the revolution failed, but not before it made it to Revachol.
So, it is what a soldier of the ICM would be called.
Thank you, Trant. Thank you for that piece of cultural theory. You said you have a motive?
Of course, excuse me, I just thought it was noteworthy.
He wasn't quite sure about the straggler before he heard this detail. It must have convinced him.
He killed the mercenary in an act of jealousy.
Jealousy? I thought this Lilianovich was an old man. To have been hiding for 50 years, like 70-something.
A strange psychosexual fixation, aggravated possibly by proximity to the Phasmid and its chemicals. He himself gave a political reason, said he had killed an enemy combatant. Also, we have ballistics from the gun, matching the bullet found in the dead mercenary's head, and 2 officers on the scene that Mr. Dros confessed to.
It's a clean win.
It's way more than that.
Did all I could. Every second was a struggle.
I've never doubted you can pull yourself together and work. In bouts. Bouts don't last.
What are you talking
I
about?
can still smell the booze on the
We
wind.
haven't had any alcohol since like day 2.
God damn it. Doesn't it ever
That was like,
leave?
what, part 7?
It is there.
When we delivered a
like
devastating
in your
spin kick?
bones or something.
I think that was still day 1. I don't think we've had any alcohol since day 1.
It will pass in time.
Okay, we're not going to mention Kuno because I feel like that might backfire on me. What do you say? Want to take this hot shit back?
I don't want to, but you discovered a new species and solved the murder. So I have to. Jude,
Anything that ends the trial is okay with me.
You haven't been drinking, she thinks. So, maybe this time.
Agreed. The public relations potential of this is too valuable to let go.
okay. We have vehicles in the square, and the perpetrator needs to be taken into custody. Let's go.
Now you will finally get to know who you are.
I have a few questions before we go about who I am.
The man looks westward, impatiently, jingling his car keys in his pocket.
First things first. Well, why am I like this?
It's not a mystery. Some chick fucked you over. Also, you were drunk.
Was she called Dora Dubois?
Dubois? It was Dora Engelund, I think.
Okay.
You've said her name, but you weren't married. You were engaged.
Englerman. Have we seen that name?
Something like that. Half Vasan.
We weren't even married.
No one is married anymore. This is Revachol.
When was this?
God, I don't know. 6 years ago? She was way before my time.
6 years and you haven't gotten over it. What the hell is wrong with you?
6 years?
Yeah. Or 7. You're not doing too good there. It's an old man thing. 2 old years equals 1 normal year. That and Dora Engelund really tore you a new one. A big one.
Who was she?
Incredibly bangable.
Figures?
Extremely fuckable, Harry.
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous. A gorgeous bourgeois woman. Wayfish. Like a whelkin, basically.
What?
Heartbreak Welkin.
I've only seen a picture, but it's obvious you formed a real spiritual connection with how pretty she was. One you never recuperated from.
Look, the sun is going down. It's time to go home.
I think she taught in the Académie des Arts, east of the river. Way east. Hard to say which came first, the middle-class chick or the drink. Egg and the chicken kind of thing. My point is, you need to see a psychiatrist about this shit. Not a psychologist. Several degrees harder. Is there something harder than a psychiatrist? A forensic psychiatrist? Go talk to that.
Okay.
In other words, he's heard enough about this.
Alright. Am I a dirty cop?
No.
Because the suspect seemed to think so.
You're too unstable to work for a mob boss. You're suicidal, Harry. No mob boss would take you.
I assure you, I wouldn't consult for a corrupt unit.
He would immediately backpedal out of it.
Now, I don't know where she got that from.
I told you it's not that bad.
Precinct 41, what kind of station is that?
Us. We're the bloody murder station, haven't you heard? We're the bad guys. No one likes us.
That's not true. Jamrock is too big for one precinct. You're just understaffed. And everyone respects the 41st. You have Captain Price.
Thank you, Lieutenant. You're being kind. It is an understaffed station and the district is too big, which is why we need to...
Get back to it. We left Torson and McLean to run the C-Wing. It's not good.
Torson and McLean?
Mac the Torso Torson and Chester McLean. They're not fit to run a wing. Believe me. Things are shaky as it is.
Okay, and the C-Wing?
God. There are 4 wings, Harry. A, B, C, and D. We're in C. It's made of losers and clock punchers. You and I reconceptualized it as a task
My
force.
conceptualization is
It
not
was a
good.
mistake.
There's also a lot of outside help involved, not only me. Other losers too.
He's anything but a loser, although he would like to be seen as one. It's cooler that way.
He is pretty cool. And Price?
Ptolemy Price? He's the son of the old Price, one of the founders of the RCM.
He's one of the most highly regarded men in the force. You're lucky.
Somewhere under the curved roof of a former silk factory, shaped like a ladybird with 2 chimneys, Police Captain Ptolemy Price sits behind a heavy wooden desk. Resident medic Nix Gottlieb pours him coffee. It's silent in the captain's office. They speak of change, the city, the tension on the streets. They speak of the events of April and the blood on the streets in May.
Did we recently shoot up a church?
So he remembers that. Yes, there may have been a raid on some churches. It wasn't good press.
Shooting up churches never is. I was out of town, to be clear.
What happened?
Our enemies were hiding in a church, to the best of our information. That's it. I'm not talking about this anymore. Your security clearance is shit tier right now. You have to wait for it to go up.
He means it. The RCM and its enemies will not be discussed on this coast. Your clearance will not go up while you're within earshot of the Union headquarters.
Okay, so I work on the Bloody Murder Station.
Okay, it's not the bloody murder station. It's an old converted silk mill with green desk lamps and a coffee corner. A lot of good people work there, hard, every day.
Jamrock is the largest ghetto in Rivershoal. Faubourg, technically, but it's divided into 11 districts. Jamrock only has us.
The press will blow over. Jamrock is lucky to have you, and it's often considered to be the greatest of the districts. You're lucky to have it.
We'll see.
Thank you again, Lieutenant.
Phasmid, I need to tell Lena about this.
Who is Lena?
She lives at 1113 Tabernacle Road in Jamrock. Remember?
Cryptozoologist, she told me about the Phasmid.
Tabernacle? It's on the way over. Near where you live on Perdition.
Fine, if we're gonna drop you off anyway.
She and her husband were conducting the search for the Phasmid. It's their discovery, in part. They should know as soon as possible. It would do you good to deliver some positive news for a change.
She is going to be over the moon.
Syndicate Saragi, what will you do now?
Well, first I will go back to my station and write the most detailed report anyone has ever seen. It will have to be good to cover all these. Then I will have a serious talk with my captain.
About what?
Detective, we just stopped a small-scale war. Something is happening to Rivershoal.
Pulls up his collar, looks around, the cold spring light reflected in the lens of his glasses.
I don't know what yet, but it's going to be a hard spring for the RCM. We need to get ready, infiltrate, investigate.
Want to do that at Station 41?
Talk to Captain Price? I'd rather not ruffle the feathers of two
No,
captains
I
with
mean
my two
investigate. Come work in Precinct 41.
arms. Work with Price?
No, work with
I'm
me, you
flattered,
idiot.
But I don't know if I...
Would fit in. And crazy enough. Can take the stress. He doesn't know how to finish the sentence. This truly came as a surprise to him. Not a bad one, but he's at a loss.
Flattered? Your Lieutenant Kitsuragi. We would be flattered if you even considered.
I would have to tie
We'll get a
things
pinball
up
machine
in
for you and
your
everything.
age First. But, I mean, whatever is coming, Jamrock will be more central to it than the harbor.
Lieutenant turns very serious all of a sudden.
And we also have a huge caseload, Lieutenant. Piles that we need to get back to. Mountains, even.
I do like the sound of that.
Hey, we got an achievement! Recruit 57's finest.
He's
Hog.
really considering it.
And last but not least, who am I?
Who are you? You're a gym teacher, Harry.
Really?
Well, obviously you're not a gym teacher anymore, but
Before?
Before you were a cop, you were a gym teacher in Coron. It's getting really cold outside. Should we maybe...
Huh. Well, that does explain a lot.
Harry, it explains everything. The running around, the jumping, the bicep girth, your inexplicable
Unfortunately,
facial
we
hair.
were like the worst gym teacher ever, because the collection of fallen sportswear I've amassed.
Your love of retro-style dance music. How you're able
Yes!
to perform a 360
He
degree spin kick.
remembers.
God, even this javelin-throwing freak here.
Why did I join the RCM then?
the regular. You found some chick. She inspired you to fight the big fight. Be more than you are. All that.
You, every morning, walking from Voyager Road to teach gym. She, leaving for the academy with her spring coat on. The air filled with the smell of smoke and raspberries, and incredible hope.
Yeah, I do need to stop recording
Ocean.
soonish, so
Full of
I kind of want to just move on so we can beat the game.
I knew it. I knew no normal human being can run like that. He's an honest-to-God gym teacher.
But like, we're really not that fit. I'm ready.
Good.
Fuck it, let's go. Tron brought his motor carriage. It's a 20-minute drive to Jamrock.
Under the evening sky, the great district turns on its lights. A chessboard of wooden houses, 80,000 living souls inside. Fire traps as far as the eye can see, from Main Street to Precinct 41 atop the motorway, to Boogie Street forking into the dark horizon. You close your eyes and hear the dogs bark. A lone woman sits by a factory window, dreaming of meteorite strikes.
Square
On
bullet.
Rue de Saint-Jérôme, a square bullet slides into a square-shaped chamber. In Old South, a man without eyelids smiles. Spring has come. It's time. Dawson? Yes. McLean? Yes. Heidelstein? No. Vicmaire? Yes. Dubois? Of course. Really? Nick Gottlieb looks up from the list. I hear he's unstable. You say that like it's a bad thing. Captain Potomny Price gestures with a ballpoint pen. It's dim in his office, and the curtains are drawn. Harry's our man. He'll pull through. When he does, he'll side with the people. Understood. Gottlieb returns to the list. Minnow? Of course.
Wonderful. Then can we please just go back to Jamrock now?
End. We scared away Fish Lady. Well, I really like the ending and the game as a whole. I haven't really talked about the game that much over the course of the Let's Play. Partially because I've just been kind of waiting to see it all before I talk too much about it. And honestly, I really don't know what I think. Other than it just being like, it's very, very good. I mean, probably the overall standout thing is just the general, like, the writing quality is very high tier. You know, just from, like, the prose to, like, the variety of dialogue is really interesting and cool. The overall storyline, I like it. To a degree, the final revelation of who the killer is a little mundane, I guess. Like, it's not like some big twist, really. I mean, I guess it kind of is, but, not particularly. But I also do kind of like, I mean, I kind of talked about this a little bit in one of the previous videos about how I do kind of like how it basically comes all the way back to the revolution, right? To showcase how, you know, these events can still have ripples that affects people's lives, you know, a half a century later. Right? Like, these people died because this one guy basically watched his friends get killed in an invasion and it broke his brain. And he was never able to move on from it. And just, like, the general, like, failure by the new government to rebuild. Now, there is also the, you know, obviously the political stuff. You know, the game's very political, and that's one of the things that it's been most praised for. I do have, like, a little bit of a criticism there, in the sense that, like, I do think this is intentional to a degree, but, like, you know, how basically every ideology is presented as almost like a caricature of itself. Like, none of them are really treated seriously, I guess. I mean, like, communism a little bit, but the rest are, and I guess it's like also confining your, like, the political stuff to, like, these four rigid interpretations, where fascism is basically there's a punchline, and moralism is not really defined. It's just, you know, they're centrist, but, like, center to what, you know? They feel kind of indistinguishable from the neoliberals. And even neoliberal, like, responses are kind of just there as a joke. And even most of the communist stuff are just kind of like, you know, still jokes, right? Like, you go to the theory thing, and then they're talking about how, ooh, a true communist can, you know, just create more turnips out of thin air and stuff. So I guess in some way I do find, like, especially just because I remember seeing the political stuff, like, so highly praised, I don't necessarily know if I agree with that. I mean, I think it's kind of cool to see a game, like, actually tackle it, in a way. And I do think there are moments where it does a really good job in tackling those, that stuff, but maybe not quite as good of a job as I was led to believe before playing the game. And that's, like, I don't know. I didn't really expect to beat the game today either. So my thoughts aren't fully fleshed out. I don't know if I'll do a discussion video for this game. Maybe like a short one. Like, just to talk about it some more, like maybe 20-30 minutes, because, you know, like, to collect my thoughts a little bit more on the game. So, like, this is just kind of like my general first impressions on not really first impressions, but, like, you know, first closing thoughts on after having beaten it. I mean, other stuff that I really liked, I mean, you know, it's a game about talking to NPCs. I mean, just like a game about just talking to people is really cool. I really enjoy that. That's kind of my jam. So in that sense, like, the game was, like, almost a little perfect for me. I just love the walking around and talking to people and solving little mundane situations. That was really cool and engaging. I like the characterization of Kim mainly. Kim is a fantastic character. Everyone else, or most of the other characters, are not that fleshed out. I mean, probably the character, I mean, there's, like, Classe, who's kind of interesting, the way she's done, where there's always this kind of sense of, you can't really quite tell if you're being played or not. And I do kind of like the ultimate, like, the way they did it, where it's like, you feel like you've been played, but then it's actually, no, you had the right idea not to arrest her. You know, she wasn't the one behind it. The Phasmid thing is really weird at the end, though. I mean, I like it. I dig it, but it does just kind of come out of nowhere and kind of breaks up the flow of the, like, interrogating the dude. And I think also maybe at the final interrogation sequence with Dros was a bit more, like, combative. Like, if it was really, like, it felt like you were working to, like, get a confession out of them. Like, they were trying to hide it from you, because it feels like as soon as you find him, it's like, okay, you've won, right? Like, he doesn't feel any, like, guilt or that he's gonna get away with it. So in that sense, like, some of the talks with Classe were more engaging, because you're really trying to, like, figure out, like, hey, is this lady lying to me? Is there something going on here? Like that and, like, Ruby, for instance, those felt like, I mean, Ruby I had some issues with, like, mechanically in the health checks, but, like, those sequences felt a bit more engaging, like, dialogue-wise, because it felt like you were working for something. Whereas I felt like for Dros's, everything was just kind of fed to you. Which I guess is also because it's, like, part of the main story, so you have to be able to win, right? But I think there was something else that I wanted to mention. I have a little bit of an issue with the learning caps on, like, well, okay, to segue this into my bigger point that I just remembered. I wish there were more alternate ways to solve stuff. And maybe there's some of that I'm just not aware of, but, like, say take the what you call it? Oh, God, I can't remember. What are they called? The tribunal. There's no, as far as I could tell, I mean, there was no way to peacefully do that scenario. It was just, you have to pass, like, some skill checks or a bunch of people die. Like, some really high skill checks. Maybe, I guess you could solve the case before day 5. That would preserve, like, actually, I don't know if you can solve the case, because you can't go to the island until after, Classe leaves. So yeah, I don't really know how the tribunal thing works. Like, because I wasn't really aware if that happened as soon as we... Because, I mean, they told us it's going to happen on day 5. Or kind of. On day 2, when we talked to Lady, she said it happens in 5 days. But you're supposed to talk to that lady on day 1. I just didn't find that whole back area. So, that was a little disappointing, and, like, maybe there is some way to peacefully do it, but, like, I do kind of wish there was a way to just do it via the dialogue. You know, it feels like there's a lot of this. It's the same with, like, Ruby, where it's like you can't talk her out of anything at all. It's just, hey, do you pass the... It's either you let her go or you pass the pain threshold check. Like, I do feel like skill-wise, things are a little one-dimensional, where it feels like there's only really one way to do stuff. And I mean, that's not true for everything, because there are some things where it feels like there are multiple ways to do things, but, like, those are just some of the more pivotal moments where it felt like it's like, okay, just pass a bunch of skill checks or else. Because, like, even the, you know, when we got shot in the leg, I was thinking that, you know, there was leg armor in the game, and it's like, oh, if we had that, that would at least alleviate that, and then maybe some people wouldn't die. But it's just, hey, pass the skill check, there's nothing you can do about it. If you don't pass the skill check, you get shot. Unless maybe you can solve the case before day 5, which I wouldn't be surprised if you could, but I don't know how you would do it, because you just can't go to the island. But overall, I mean, the game's fantastic. Like, I'm just kind of mentioning, it's easier to talk about things that you don't like or you don't think worked well, rather than just, like, is good. Like, it's harder to explain. You know, something that's good is just like, well, I don't know, this is good, I like it. Like, I mean, don't think that, like, you know, just because I'm mentioning some things that I thought could have been better, that I don't think the game is amazing. I think the game is really, really good. And I understand why it's so highly praised. even if there are some aspects where I think maybe that praise was like it didn't quite live up to, like I think some of the political stuff maybe necessarily wasn't as in-depth and interesting as I would have expected. I mean, there are definitely some parts where I think it's kind of cool, like the revolutionary guy at the end, like a lot of his dialogue is interesting. And then there's also, like, when it comes to, like, when the game asks you to make, like, a political decision, like, it feels like it's always the extreme, right? Like, you're never, like, you know, the communism stuff is, like, brutal, bloody uprising right now. Or, you know, and then plus all the, you know... And then it just feels like the other three political things it tracks are, like, just jokes. You know, moralist is just you don't say anything. Neoliberal is like, money cool. And then the fascism is just always being racist. Which, I mean, I think maybe because I think the fascism in particular is kind of one that would have been a little bit interesting if it had some depth to it. Like maybe not necessarily fascism, but like I think there is a kind of, you know, like in setting with Revachol being this like conquered nation that is basically being governed by foreign nations for, you know, half a century, and it's kind of fallen to shit in that time. That maybe if the fascism was more tied to like, hey, we should be able to like be the ones to determine our own future, rather than like, hey, we hate immigrants and other races. So like I think they're actually in setting there is a kind of potential to explore that idea a little bit. Or like maybe not like, you know, nationalism, maybe not necessarily fascism, but instead it's kind of just treated as like, hey, here's where you could be like a racist if you wanted to, because there's probably some funny dialogue, right? So I don't know. And it's because, I mean, I get like you don't want to treat fascism as like a real ideology because frankly it's not. So I get it in that sense, but I do think in universe there were occasionally times where there would be like the fascist dialogue would be something along the lines of like, hey, we should be able to determine our own future, which I agree with, but most of the times it's just like, hey, I hate other people who don't look like me. Which to be fair, that's kind of what fascism is, so it's an accurate depiction, but I don't know, maybe instead of it trying to track fascism, it should have been trying to track like, you know, national pride or something, I don't know, but... And then also there's an element of like, it's hard to even like, I don't know, like I guess from like a roleplay perspective, like being a nationalist when you're like, you know, in your first playthrough you have no clue anything about the nation, right? You're just kind of lost, but yeah, I am pretty much out of time to record. I will probably try and do like a 20 to 30 minute video talking about the game some more after I've thought about it some. I would not... There's like a 80% chance that happens. If it doesn't happen, that just means I couldn't think of really anything to say, or I was too lazy. We'll see. But yeah, overall, fantastic game. Really glad I played it. Had a ton of fun doing it in the Let's Play format. I think the game really, it worked well for entertainment value, even though, like, I feel like me personally I was kind of passive in this Let's Play, right? Because there's a lot of just, like, letting the game do the heavy lifting when it comes to the narrative and comedy, because, I mean, the game's funny. There was a lot of, like, I just kind of got to sit back and let the game do, like, the entertainment stuff, compared to, like, some other games where, like, I'm more engaged in, like, trying to make it entertaining. But overall, I feel good about the Let's Play. I feel happy with it. I think it's a good product, a good creation, a good byproduct of capital. Yeah. I'm Extra Cheesy 87. Stay tuned for the next Let's Play. Bye, guys.